Hey, welcome. This is my flagship XFCE. It's all up to date, and we're gonna make tutorials about ArcoLinuxD, the ArcoLinuxD website. So remember, the D stands for the desktop. You choose what desktop you want to learn. You want to install XFCE, Box, i3, Face, 20 desktops to choose from. That's fun. Now you can install desktops in 4 different ways, and this video is about the i3. We have here option 1, go and download ArcoLinux. Download ArcoLinuxD. Here, that's seed host, that's paid. If you can, please go to the free SourceForge or the free torrent ArcoLinuxD. Right, you download the ArcoLinuxD version. That's what we're talking about here. Option 1. We're on the ArcoLinuxD website, right? Decide the desktop. That's what the D stands for. If you wouldn't know, that's what it stands for. Decide the desktop. Or you install it via Calamares, which is easy, click, right? Or you install it with scripts, which becomes more technical, but gives you more freedom. Option 3 is install the desktop with an ISO, and that's here already explained. So again, go to the downloads, and we have the B's here, 2 sources. And if SourceForge is working for you, please get it here. Those are the B's. Decide the desktop you like, you want to install, and use that one. There is always a 4th option, which is a great option, which gives you even more freedom. Never mind what you've chosen to install or use as desktop. You can always do a Ctrl-Alt-E if, of course, you have the ArcoLinux tweak tool installed. And there is this super simple thing like a drop down, choose whatever you like, and then say install and be done with it. That's the option 4 to install. What we're gonna show today is ArcoLinuxB. Well, ArcoLinuxB has its own website, so ArcoLinuxB has its own installation information, how to build, because the B stands for building. If you want to have GNOME, then you need to build it, and if you've built it, you can install it, and that's the installation video. So that's explained there. The tweak tool I've shown you, just a click away. So leaves us option 1 and 2 that we need to document in a video. All right, let's move you out of the way. Let's do a super F7. Let's delete this one. Copy, paste, clone. Give me ArcoLinuxD ISO, and I'll do whatever I want with it, right? It's the ISO that gives the most freedom, but can be maybe a little bit technical in the beginning. So watching a video might be a good idea. Right, Control F. So you maximize your system. This guy is if you have problems with your graphical cards, but normally 99% or let's say 90% will use the first line and will have no troubles. We end up in a very minimal XFCE environment. In order to have a beautiful wallpaper, in order to have a nice panel, in order to have a right mouse click on the desktop, in order to have a screen that's gonna pop up our ArcoLinux welcome app. And from there we start installing our system. We have the possibility to update our Arch Linux mirrors. Not the ArcoLinux, Arch Linux. We have the ability to start with a clean slate, delete everything, all the partitions are gone. And if then everything is done, we can go for a run Calamares. We have a version number, 3.2.32. We're at this point in time already at the date, voila, 34. So it keeps on progressing, and let's keep in mind that this is free of charge. Then we go and decide all these things, right? Do I need another kernel? Well, first my advice is try this one. This one being the one that's on the ISO. When you update later on, you'll get another Linux kernel in, because maybe you already are a few months on ArcoLinux, and then you know that ArcoLinux is pushing out a lot of kernels. So why choose another one? LTS is a good advice when things suddenly don't work anymore. You say, hey, I used to have a webcam, or I used to have a wireless connection, it's no longer working. We ask you to switch between kernels and see if that's solves the issue. Other solution is downgrade, right? Since there are so many kernels pushed out from ArcoLinux, you downgrade it to the kernel that worked again and wait for another kernel in a few weeks time and try that one and then see if it works again. All tips. Do you want Bluetooth support and so on? Decide if you want to have SDM, GDM, LXDM. We have chosen in all our ISOs for LightDM. It just works. We know it does. You know it does. And then you choose the desktop, right? Choosing the desktop, in this case, I'm making a video about i3. So we're using i3 caps, i3 status, and all these packages to have a complete desktop feeling. And this is a tiling window manager, like that we have 8 more. Well, 7 more then, we have 8 in total. And it's just a choice. At this point in time, you can actually choose more, right? You can say, I'm gonna try these 3 out, and so on. It's a choice. But this is about i3. So, basically, guys, choose something to log in. A login in the display manager. I advise LightDM. And i3. Next, and all the rest is up to you if you want to install it or not. Is there something in there in the list that you say, oh, I need this, right? Just a click away. But remember, if you do a click away, if you do this, for example, maybe too much, all the file managers you can possibly have, you are going to download everything. It's gonna take the time it's gonna take, right? It's just, do you have a fast internet? Do you have a slow internet? Then later on it needs to be installed. So basically my message is, the more you install here, the more you select here, the longer you will wait. So message is, be patient. Belgian is good for me. Erase disk, no swap is this look with a partition, with a bigger partition, and a swap to file, right? It's all possible. I'm gonna take this time, no hibernate in this video. Last videos, many of the last videos, I took the newest. This is new, right? Swap to file means there is no partition, but the system knows, hey, there is a file, a swap file that I can use. If my memory is not enough anymore, I can use that one. Okay, that's a choice. Done a lot of that in the previous video, so let's do a no hibernate. Now the other thing we can do, if I install, it's gone, right? And when I install, it's running. The other option, let's go back here. So option 1, install the desktop using Calamares. Basically, that's this. And then later on, you end up in a black screen. That's normal, a black screen. You log in, you say, do you want to have new list of mirrors, ArcoLinux mirrors? Then you type this. Then you update the system, which means the new kernel coming in. Then you decide, what did I choose? Did I choose LightDM? Did I choose SDM? Did I choose GDM or LXDM? So enable whatever you've chosen. Scale or not, entirely up to you. If you're working with tiling window managers, please do a scale. And then you reboot and you see what you get. That's option 1. Option 2 is not doing anything. Install ArcoLinuxD without selecting the display manager or the desktop in Calamares, and do that later on. I've just made a video like that in OpenBox. Let's show that again here. In OpenBox, this video is skipping everything and installing an i3. And I'm gonna do exactly the same thing for i3. So it's always a choice. Option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4. So that means I need to go back, all the way back. And then nothing. I will not install ITM, I will do it later. I will not install i3, I will do it later. And the rest was not selected. Which means basically I have the most minimal installation there is on ArcoLinux. It's still very, very empty. There is a TTY, black screen, and you decide what you install. And off we go. While that's doing its thing, let's have a look at what we're going to do. So we're going to do option 2. That's the most technical one, that's why I do it also. So it's a black screen, and we need to get code in. We need to Git Clone Code. And the code is on the ArcoLinuxD GitHub. And ArcoLinuxD GitHub gets 20, even more, but 20 desktops are working just fine if you use our scripts. So in this case, it's i3 that I'm looking for. Arco i3, I'll get everything that's on here, and don't look at the date. It doesn't matter if I do sudo pacman -s lightm. In 3 years time, it will still be sudo pacman -s lightm, right? It's a package name. So these things do not get changed if there's no issue. It just stay the same. And the idea is to give you a minimal installation, but hey, that's personal, eh? What's minimal? We give you a template for each application, for each script is a kind of template, and we put a lot of work in this, 200 commits, right? Put a lot of work in here. The point is reuse the code, reuse it and change it the way you see fit, and put it somewhere on the GitHub so you can do exactly the same thing. Git clone and then your personal GitHub. Okay, so let's go a little bit in detail. 100 display manager and desktop. What we get here is what we need. Basically, the most important things we need are: we need to have LightYAM, we need to have the ArcoLinux because that makes it nicer. There's also a standard LightYAM GTK greeter, which is not so nice, right? So we themed and tweaked and made it out of the box a beautiful system. That's where ArcoLinux comes in. Lots of packages, lots of tweaks, 3 years or 4 years of work on that. i3 caps, i3 status, auto tiling came in thanks to a tip of Discord. Again, thank you, that's a great tip. And so on, right? Other packages to log out and so on. So basically this is a long list, and this particular application is just going through the list. You're gonna loop through the list. 4 done, right? Do done. And then later on we say, oh, we should do a skel. Copy everything from etc skel to home directory. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go and have a look what skel means. It's an alias, and basically we had to rewrite the skel aliases to make it work. LightYAM is enabled. We have chosen to use LightYAM everywhere, and we're not sorry for our choice. Indeed, it's a very stable thing. Now sometimes, maybe a tip, sometimes you see these images, LightYAM did not start. Just remember, it's never the fault of LightYAM. It's the thing that's behind it. It's a tiling window manager. Check again the config. Do a skel maybe, because when you do a skel, the original code from ArcoLinux is back in, reboot, and you'll be working again. Another thing is Nvidia drivers. LightYAM says it fails. It's not LightYAM that fails, it's the thing that's behind it, and often it's Nvidia drivers. So, just one tip. And do I need to? No, I don't need to talk anymore. Restart now. Done. So, I did not select anything. What do we get if we don't select anything? Strange. Sudo pacman -remove anything ArcoLinux. So we have a few packages on here. We see that we have already selected. Oh, we did select ArcoLinux config i3 DWM git. You see, I must have done something wrong. since XFC is there, i3WM is there, and so on. i3caps is there. So basically, guys, sorry, but what we've done is we've done a phase 1, right? That must have selected something over Calamares. Remember that, I don't know, we can rewatch the video, but we have done option 1, install the desktop using Calamares, which is of course also good, right? I can still show you what to do for option 2. If nothing would have been installed, I'm following option 2, and it says I should do a mirror. That's something everybody can do, a mirror. It's going to look at all the ArcoLinux servers around where you live, Italy, Spain, UK, right? Anywhere. It's going to look what's near you and what's the fastest near you. Updating is going to take a while, so let's skip this thing for now and show you Git Clone HTTPS github.com/ArcoLinux ArcoLinuxD/Arco, and then something, Arco i3 in this case, and let's see if we can get it in. CD Arco i3 ls, and this is option 2. This is what will I install, and of course when I run number 100 it's already installed. Not everything, but all these green things are already installed, and you can keep on making these, reuse these scripts and change these scripts any way you see fit. Basically it says run from 100 till 800 and then see what you get, but my advice is do one by one and see what you get. Let's do the reboot. So it's an option 1 thing and a combination with option 2. Anything is possible. It's super freedom. You run whatever you want. Change the scripts, please. Reuse the scripts, please. LightYam is installed, as you see, i3. Don't use this one, i3. And then log in. All right. Okay, cool. So muted, it says here. Well, I did not install anything for sound. No sound. And it says muted. We have a Control T, we have a Super Shift Enter. We're up to, good to go. Super Shift D, that's all we need, right? We have a terminal, we have a file manager, and we have a menu. Now Firefox, sorry, but it's not yet installed. So knowing your applications is of course essential on tiny window managers. Sudo pacman -s Firefox. And rather than typing all this, why not make a script of it, right? So next time you don't need to type it and you run a script, your script. There's some errors here, it depends, right? So it's time to do a mirror. It's time to do a mirror because it says the requested URL returned 404, failed to get it, which means I need to update my mirrors. Again, I suppose. Failed to commit transaction, failed to retrieve some files. And what happens if I update? I guess we need to do a complete update. I see a pacman mirror list up here. So let's get that in, the update, and then later I can do Firefox stuff. But hey, it's gonna take a while. What can I explain in the meantime? Maybe the sound, right? The sound, install sound, right mouse click. Problem is, if I run 120 and the other one is running, we get conflicts, right? Because there can be only one pacman running. That's basically it. It's like the Highlander, if you remember these films. There can be only one, remember? And he had to chop off the head of other guys and all the lightning came. Basically, if this left screen is working, I can't install anything else. I have to wait because there is a log file here, var lib pacman-db.log. Good tip, we have an alias, unlock, that I should not use now. And it says sudo remove var lib pacman-db.log. So this line will be removed. You only use it if you're super 100% certain that pacman is not running. and Pacman is also Pamac AUR. Let's wait for this thing to stop. So the muted thing is something we could do. Install sound, printers, Bluetooth. It's entirely up to you what you install more. Do you need to have a look at the network? The browse network is important for you. Network, discovery. And here we get a new mirror list, right? So we can install Firefox. Firefox is not coming from ArcoLinux, it's coming from ArcoLinux. So we need to get the correct ArcoLinux servers. Yay! So this is a big update. Big update is, okay, you should reboot, but let's first install the sound. Then we can reboot. So the sound kicks in. Remember to mute it. It's gonna be gone, since it will find Pulse Audio. And SR, sudo reboot. And it is a piece, and you can see it as a puzzle, you can see it as a Lego box. It's getting the pieces in, right? Getting things in that you like, love, getting rid of the things you hate. Every distribution has things you hate. All right, we have here 45. So that's working. And yeah, the Firefox, I think, yeah, the sudo pacman -s Firefox, go get it. Boom, done, installed. Super simple. Why? Hey, we just fixed all the mirrors. Vivaldi is installed. Remember, we provide you with service. Spotify is not installed via ArcoLinux. It's an AUR package that we built for you that's on our repo, ArcoLinux repo extra large Spotify. Net change 300, download size 118. So the extra large stands for anything super big, in the sense more than 100 or getting 200 to be safe. It's there, extra large. And there are so many things that we provide you. InSync is for Google Drive, Dropbox, you know, that cloud service as well. And boom, it's installed, as simple as that. And that's what we're paying for. This is seed host, guys. This is seed host. Basically, Control-Alt-F. There is Firefox, seed host, ArcoLinux, and then I end my video, right? Anything coming from the repos is actually coming from ArcoLinux data center, seed host. Here are our packages. What you download is coming from here, from here, from here, from here, from here, right? So we are buying these servers, and thank you for your donations, because otherwise we would not be able to provide you this service. All right, enjoy ArcoLinux, guys. There's still lots to explore. Remember, that's always, if you want to learn more, ArcoLinuxD.com, and well, let's make, yes, delete you guy, and gets to phase 5, i3 articles, right? Lots and 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 lots articles about i3. This is where the knowledge is. This is where you can find it. And sometimes you can find it as well on ArcoLinux.com. i3 things, right? Not sure, let's just type i3 and see how many articles we get. Use a search. And ArcoLinux is more a general kind of thing, right? Anything about design, anything. Plank is an article that's there for all Linux operating systems. It's just Plank. Polybar is just a application. It's there for all Linux systems, Solus, Ubuntu, and the like. Think out of the box, guys. This is just Linux, an application on Linux. XFCE is going to be the same on Ubuntu and other distros out there. It's just XFCE with another engine behind it. i3, yeah, that's what I wanted to look at. So these are all things about i3. So more information here is available too, because ArcoLinux.com is the XFCE OpenBox i3. It's about the flagship plus anything else, right? Anything else like articles about Nvidia, article about printers and sound and display, about logout, language kernels, and so on. It's about a lot of stuff, more general Linux stuff. That's on ArcoLinux.com. All right, enjoy the learning. Cheers.